What's up YouTube? Welcome to 12 pro tips and tricks for REPO. I don't want to waste any time, so let's just jump right into it.
Oh,
that was a
amazing. That was amazing throw.
Loot can be hidden underneath furniture, inside furniture, and sometimes way up high on furniture. By turning yourself into an object, you can have teammates grab and place you in areas that are normally not accessible. Some tiles will have multiple levels, which can only be reached with parkour or by using this technique. Be sure you're using this, as there have been times where I'll find 2 or 3 items in higher locations.
You guys see this up here?
The spawn and despawn system in REPO is very unusual. Although we don't know exactly how it works yet, all we currently know is that some enemies will despawn after some time. So, if there's an enemy blocking your pathway back to the REPO van, just break line of sight, wait a few minutes, and there's a chance the enemy will despawn, clearing your pathway. Keep in mind that if it does despawn, it will eventually respawn, and if you ever kill an enemy, you should expect it to respawn at some point. On the back of each player, you can see their health bar highlighted in green. By interacting with this, you can heal them in increments of 10. Now, when you complete the final extraction site, the green orb in the REPO van will open. This orb will heal each player 25 HP when they walk inside the van. So, before walking in the van, if you have 100 HP and a teammate has less, it's a good idea to heal them, then walk into the van so you both get the health bonus. As an extra tip, this orb will also revive teammates after the last extraction point, so it's definitely worth it to bring player heads back to the ship at the end of your run so your teammate can be revived and get the 25 HP bonus. As you get to higher levels, the amount of extraction points will increase. Sometimes, these extraction points can be hard to find, so be sure to listen for them. Every few seconds, extraction points will make a ping sound, which can be heard through walls, making it much easier to find them. By sprinting, jumping, and going into object mode, you'll launch yourself forward as a projectile, which you can use to hurt enemies. Tumble launching is maybe not the best way to attack enemies, but it's a great alternative to quickly do some damage if you don't have resources.
Nice.
Just be careful, as you'll usually take damage when doing this. In my experience, it's best to stun an enemy first, then tumble launch them as many times as you can. You can also use the tumble launch upgrade from the shop to increase the damage output for this attack. Rechargeable items like the frying pan, shotgun, and drones are all a one-time purchase. Once you buy a rechargeable item, you have it the rest of the game. Even if you die with it or don't bring it back, it'll reappear in the REPO van once you complete the level. Since items in the shop only get more expensive the further you get, this makes buying rechargeable items during the early game very much worth it. If these items run out of charge, you can recharge them using energy crystals. And as a side note, you'll always receive 1 free energy crystal after level 1, which makes buying these items even more worth the money. On Swift Academy, you'll often find rooms with cauldrons and multiple levels. You can use these cauldrons to blast yourself up to these higher levels. You'll want to stand at the back of the cauldron to properly angle yourself where you want to go. For example, if I want to get to that ledge, I'll stand in the cauldron on the opposite side of the ledge, and it'll launch me directly towards it. You can also crouch to lower your launch height and distance. The minimap is one of the most useful items in the game, especially when it comes to navigating through the map. The minimap will show you which rooms you have and haven't explored, it'll show you extraction points, and it'll show you the best route to whichever extraction site is currently active. Once you've completed all extraction sites, the minimap will then show you the fastest route back to the REPO van. This minimap is also extremely useful when you're carrying heavy items. I'm constantly pulling up my minimap to help guide me when I'm walking backwards with a heavy item. You can grab and throw enemies. Most enemies will be too big to move unless you have strength upgrades or you pick them up with teammates. However, smaller enemies like bombers and gnomes can be grabbed and thrown without any strength upgrades. You can also grab and push away spewers to keep them from attaching to you. Whenever an enemy is killed, it'll drop an orb that's usually worth somewhere between $2,000 and $7,000. This can be very useful not only for some extra money, but also if you cannot find any loot and need a little extra cash to hit quota. Even if you don't have resources to kill an enemy, you can always rely on tumble launching and environmental hazards to kill them. Just be careful with these orbs as they're extremely fragile. The minimap will show you loot, shop items, and player heads. Loot won't show up on your minimap right away. You or your teammate must see the item on your screen, then it'll show up on your minimap as a yellow blip. This is really handy because oftentimes you'll look at an item without actually seeing it, which will then put the blip on your minimap. You should always check your minimap after clearing a room and before extracting for any missed items. Carts and any buyable items from the shop will show up in blue, and finally, player heads will show up in red. By scrolling your mouse wheel forward and back, you can push and pull items. This mechanic can be used to hit players and enemies. On top of that, if you quickly push the item forward and let go, this will throw the item, which is a great technique to hitting enemies while keeping a healthy distance. I'm planning on doing a ton of content on this game, so if it's something you're currently playing, be sure to like the video and subscribe for more. Also, if you'd like to see high-level gameplay, I've been streaming this game pretty much every day on Twitch, first link in the description.